Hello, folks. This is myself. Lizzy will be coming on very shortly. In terms of her presence, this is the Joe and Lizzy program, and I'm going to welcome Lizzy in now.
Hey
Hello,
there.
Lizzy. How are you doing?
I am doing great. I'm just entering my space here
Fair
on,
enough.
on this mindful morning.
I hear that. One of the many things I really admire about Lizzy, nothing stops her. So she's the only one, even though most people I meet on Zoom stuff, live stream stuff. They've got to be at the station, everything in place, just perfect. Nope, I got to do what I got to do, and let's make things happen. Nothing's going to slow me down. Nothing's going to stop me. So you are an amazing human being.
Aw,
So thanks for signing on again, folks.
as are you, my friend.
Okay. Some housekeeping chores again for those who sign in early. We usually do some background work, but now we are pretty much on time, so we'll do a fast forward. I'd like to remind people that if you're not able to view the live stream version and you look at the replay aspect of it, please feel free to leave comments and suggestions. And a reminder that if you're looking at us through YouTube, you must first sign into your Google account to be able to leave a comment. That being said, I also want to give a holler out, and we do try to respond back to every comment, like or otherwise, and express your concerns, your questions, your opinions. And one example is I'd like to give a holler out to Coach Glow. She gave me a word of encouragement, and she's saying, Joe, I really admire your ability to work hard at this and your struggle to understand it. Coach, I'm not even at that point yet. I'm still trying to get through my confusion, much less understand it.
Coach
So
Flo is the best. I adore her so
okay.
much. She's
She's an
amazing.
amazing person. So, again, Coach Glow, thank you for your support, and I'll do my best to figure that out. Now, the quote for first off, humanistic stuff. How have you survived the snow so far?
So far, it's still coming down here, and it's a little chilly in my house. But I will be shoveling later. It's one of my favorite. It's one of my favorite mindful activities is to shovel snow. I
Interesting. Do
I
you?
I do it all myself. Well, I'm gonna have my boys help me with at home. But yes, I love shoveling snow.
Do
I
you,
don't
do,
know
you-
why.
do you hire out?
No, I do. No, 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 no,
Because
no.
I want to help you with your mindfulness stuff if that's what it takes.
I'm like on a mission out there. I'm like, I will just, and it is, it's such a mindful practice. So I'm like, I will tackle this part and then I'll come inside and get warm. Then I'll go back out. And it's like a methodical,
Interesting approach. Ah,
maybe my husband does not help.
okay, fair enough. Well, I think he doesn't want to get in the way of your mindfulness objective there.
That's
So
right. That's right.
that's very nice of him to do
He's
that.
respectful of my meditation.
There you go. So you don't get many men who support their wives like that. So my hat off to Abe. So the topic for today, let's start this off,
Mhm.
is I have to bring it up so it's more clear. I can't memorize this stuff. It's just not happening for me. So, that being said, the quote for today is mindfulness isn't difficult. We just need to remember to do it. Now, I'm lost in the first sentence because I'm saying mindfulness. What the hoot is that? And I think it's got to be something other than shoveling blocks of snow. So, could you describe, and maybe the two tie in together? Could you describe what you've just said as your morning presentation for how this works with this quote by Sharon Saltzberg?
Mhm. Uh, I mean, what mindfulness is? I mean, it's inhabiting the present moment,
Mm-hmm.
inhabiting the present moment.
Right.
And so, and so, why it's difficult is because we are always we're in the habit of projecting our past experiences, our past, old habits into each moment. So
Mm-hmm.
we're not fully present. And
Right.
that's where we miss out. That's where we miss out, and that's where we can get into a little bit of a trouble.
Ah, well, that's intriguing because as I'm speaking with you, that part of my head is I still got to shovel snow out there. So is my mindfulness on the snow shovel? Is my mindfulness on you who's online with me right now?
That's right. And right. And are you thinking about, oh, it's going to hurt my back, and it's going to this, and it's going to be so heavy, and I'm going to be cold. And
You're psychic. You're amazing. You got other skills that I haven't even known about yet.
yeah, rather than it's going to be what it's going to be, and it doesn't mean it's going to be like it was last year when you shoveled snow,
Right.
right? And it might be a lot easier and lighter. The snow cool, you don't know. We don't know. So it's just being present with our experience, whatever we're experiencing, and not projecting what we think it's going to be, or what we thought it was, or what happened yesterday, or whatever, right?
So, well, don't ask me to agree with you. You know that's not going to happen. Folks, she tries to sneak that in on me. She thinks it's going to short circuit my confusion. No, not right. Let me express my objections here. That it seems to be. I guess you're saying you have to. I'll do the opposite. To be mindful, do you have to block out everything except that one item at that one moment? Is that the concept we're talking about here?
Well, I would say it's just to be in honestly in that moment, and try to not let the other experiences, that your past experiences, or whatever thoughts that you might have from somewhere else, inhabit that moment, so that you can actually experience that moment and let it unfold the way it should unfold, rather than rather than you deciding what it's going to be before it happens.
Okay. Well, I'm not sure if I get it, but let's go to maybe the second sentence, and that might help me a little bit more. So, okay, so we're on the second sentence. We just need to remember to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Is it as simple as that, really?
Yeah, I think it's as simple as that. Is coming back. So, like, when we're, say, sitting down for our cup of tea in the morning, and at the same time we go to reach our phone and looking at the emails, and then have our computer open and we're looking at that, we've lost our way. we were, we have lost the ability to really enjoy that cup of tea. So I'm saying, just trying to remembering to just, all right, let me put my phone down and let me enjoy this cup of tea that is, going to warm my body and be good for my for my spirit for the day, rather
Right.
than doing all of these other things at the same time, which take you out of the moment. They
I
take you,
see.
do you know what
Right.
that?
Well, maybe I have a gotcha moment. I hear that. I was at the very beginning of this dialogue. I explained that everybody else, when I do Zoom connects with or live stream connects, is that people are already in place. The light's shining. The background is going. The tie, the blouse is in perfect position. But you were coming on and you were walking and you were dodging and you were maneuvering and you were carrying your laptop. Does that mean you weren't being mindful at that moment?
I don't know. I was being mindful. I was arriving. I was,
No. I don't know. I don't arriving. To me, it's at the moment. Now you're arriving. I'm getting even more lost on that. Could you kind of help me out on this?
I was absolutely mindful the whole walk
It
over.
sounds like multitasking to me, and that seems to be what you're excluding here.
No, I was actually preparing before. I was actually in meditation, doing a beautiful meditation before we started. And all
Uh,
of a sudden, I looked and I was thought that I would be done at 7:56, and all of a sudden, I opened my eyes and it was 7:59.
but does that mean you weren't mindful then? I'm even more confused.
Well, I think that I was inhabiting my life.
Oh, jeez.
So,
Okay, okay, folks. Do you understand where I am on this at this moment? So maybe I'm a positive kind of guy. And maybe with further dialogue at some point, it might take 6 months, 6 years, who's to say, some of this might begin to make some sense to me. But to ask this from a different direction, does being mindful mean that you're not allowed to be a multitasker, that gets in the way of being mindful?
I think it does. I definitely do. I think that we need to be unique taskers. one thing at a time, really, so that we can fully experience whatever it is that we're doing. Because I don't believe in multitasking. I don't think that we can. I don't think we can focus fully on on more than one thing at a time, really. And I'm a mom, and so people say, you know, there were times when I was driving and passing out snacks, and
Mm-hmm.
you know, at the same time. But was I fully driving and really the most safe in those moments? Probably.
Right. Okay.
So I don't think, no, I think that there's not really, I think we all need to be better at unitasking rather than multitasking.
Interesting. Now, okay, so let me ask this differently. Are there times where it's impossible to be mindful? And I'll give you an example. You're preparing the meal. So you're setting the table, maybe you're helping people pass the food around. Somebody's asking for the butter, you're responding to that. That to me is multitasking. So do you ever say, well, one thing at a time, folks? Let's set the table first.
Well, you're still doing one thing at a time.
Right.
When you're placing you know, you're still actually placing the table, the settings on the table. You're not passing the butter at the same exact moment. And yes, you can ask. You can say, wait a minute, you know, let's just do this one thing at a time. Let's, you know, slow down, like, you know, and do this, and then I will go to the kitchen and get the butter. And it actually like slows things down, and I don't think that's a bad thing to ask for either. To say, okay, let's you know. And yes, there are times when I'm cooking and I have 10 things cooking at the same time, but I still have to go think. I have to be really fully present to say, okay, this needs to go in at this time, and this needs to come out, and you know, right? So,
Well, you're asking me to agree again. You start trying to slip that stuff in on me. I don't know if it's right or not. I'm still trying to figure it out. I hear what you're saying. Let me ask this differently. That we're talking about the technique of being mindful. What's the value of being mindful? I've yet to ask you that.
well, I think it's really to really enjoy life,
Mm-hmm.
and to also be in touch with yourself. Be in touch with yourself so that you don't just have knee jerk. Again, we talked about this before. Knee jerk reactions, like, you know. There's a story. Let me try to think if I remember. There was like a fifth grader said, you know, what does mindfulness mean? And he said something like, it means not hitting my friend in the face. When, you know, I mean, it's like he's stopping and saying, is this going to be a good idea
Okay.
to hit my friend in the face? Um, so it's having a little bit of perspective,
Right.
and kind of creating a space where you can have a little. I believe it's where creativity lies. It's like where you have a space where you can think about options, and so,
Right.
you know, and I think that's an amazing thing.
So,
And
so,
also is a way to be fully with yourself. But
mm-hmm.
people think, oh, you're sitting, you know, meditating, but but it's not really. It's about how you are with another person, and how you are with, you know,
Okay.
with your surroundings, and just kind of being engaged rather than out in the back with all the noise in your mind.
I hear that. Well, I'm going to do some house chores work. Welcome, Willie. Thank you for signing on. And he's asking, is there a Zoom link or just Facebook Live? And I'm going to do some house chores. We podcast out or live stream out to 3 sources: to Facebook, to LinkedIn, and also to YouTube. And so there is a LinkedIn format, and what we do is we pre-announce, and we try to schedule it so it's available to everybody. I have to work out the technique. This is still fairly new for us, but the answer is yes. I am going to remind you, if you look at it through YouTube, you have to sign into a Google account. But the chief question people are asking is, well, how do I learn about this? How do I know the exact moment it's going to happen? And we're still working on that. This is our 3rd encounter, which is a good item. So I think, and asking the question, really, and this is why I'm asking people to leave comment and to leave questions, and we'll work on making it better so the outreach isn't so hard to get into. And I also like to remind you, if you do happen to stumble across us on the replay side, feel free to leave your comments, your questions, because we will reincorporate that into our program at some point. At least acknowledge who you are, that you exist. So at this point, really, I have to say this. We're not going to say 10,000 more people know about you and will look you up in Zoom or Facebook, but at least 2 more people know about you. And that's 2 more perhaps than you had 2 minutes ago. So we do appreciate your comment on that. And we'll try to work on giving better explanation and better accessibility on that format. So if I understand correctly, and I get so involved talking, I forget to keep track of our time. We've got only a minute. So let me, Ken, really thank you very much for your smile and your contribution. So to summarize, I guess, in terms of what to go home with today, thought for the moment, what would you like to share with us?
First of all, thank you, Willie, for tuning in. Appreciate you very much. So I would say, just to go back to the fifth grader, right? So he was thinking, I hit someone in the mouth last week, right?
Mhm.
That didn't work out too well, right? So maybe I'm going to think of trying something else. You're not being passive, right? You're not being driven by your old habits. You're a world of possibilities. There's a
Mhm.
world of possibilities and options if you
Yeah.
are present and mindful.
Okay. So the focus, if I'm hearing it correctly, is not to get caught up in being reactive that you might regret, perhaps, but to be proactive and you can be pleased about. Is that kind of nailing it?
Yes, absolutely.
Uh,
It's yes, and really just it's a way of really finding compassion and inhabiting your life fully, inhabiting this one life.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. My mind is still, I got to shovel the snow, so I'm not sure how much more of a convert I am on this. But I do appreciate your input, Lizzy, your efforts on me still. Really, for today, comments, Coach Glow for her support. I appreciate that. And everybody have a good day. And we'll see you by the way, get the word out that we are every, Thursday at 8 o'clock, 15 minutes. Now, there will be exceptions. If it's a holiday, we may not be available, but we'll try to at least make an announcement it's not going to happen, so there'll be no confusion about that. So again, stay healthy, everybody. Stay safe, and keep that
Yes.
snow